Welcome back to One on One with Mr. U. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. U. In studio with us, podcast host, Driven Introvert, entrepreneur, a whole bunch of stuff. Remi Roy is in the house. Remi, how are you?
Hey,
Good to have you
I'm
here.
doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, awesome. There's more accolades to add on, but I'll let you do those yourself during the course of our interview. But great to have you in here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we talk about a lot is podcasting and all the
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes and how to push through a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
confidence issues and things like that. We're gonna talk about all that stuff soon. But customarily, always ask our guests to come in and kind of share about their upbringing, their childhood. How'd you get from there to where you are right now? Go ahead and share that with us.
Oh my God, it's a long story, but we
That's
have
okay.
we have a few minutes, so I'll condense it. My name is Remi Roy. I grew up in Nigeria with my mom, a single mom, and two sisters and a brother.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was always the very quiet kid. I was the shy kid who will always be in the corner, never talking to anyone, just make a beeline for the back of the room wherever I enter. That was always me. But I was I love to reflect. I've always been a very driven person, but I didn't know what to do with that drive, right? Because it felt like it felt like two sides of a coin, so to speak. Like here was I having a lot of reflection and thinking very deeply and contemplating and having many ideas that I felt like, oh, it'd be cool to do this or that. But on the other hand, I was the shy kid. And if you're shy, you don't want people to see you, you don't want to be out there. So it's possible that you kind of struggle with, okay, what do I do with all these ideas that I have? So that was me 100%. So I spent many years trying to figure that out. But I think one good thing that came out of that time for me, just my childhood, being somebody who is very quiet, is I learned how to go deep. I learned how
Hmm.
to go deep with,
Okay.
yeah, with my thoughts, with my studies at school, with friendships, with even God. I learned how to go deep instead of, sort of spreading myself thin. I was just that person that could spend a lot of time by myself, reading, figuring things out, tinkering. I never get tired of doing that. So,
I
um,
love that.
yeah,
Tell me what going deep looks like because I know it sounds deep. If I say in deep, it sounds deep.
yeah.
But in practical applications, what's going deep look like for you?
To be honest, it's not that deep. It's just spending time,
Okay.
paying attention. Like I feel I'm that kind of person. Like I can spend hours doing one thing,
Wow.
and it
Okay.
just has to do with attention. Like being able to pay attention, giving time and effort, and just mind space to whatever needs to be done at that time. So if it's work, I'm ready to lean in. If it's a conversation, I don't want to be distracted, I'm ready to lean in, right? If it's whatever it is, if it's even reflection, because I think there is an amount of self-awareness that comes when you are able to reflect. It only comes through reflection. So if you are not able to really spend time being by yourself and asking yourself questions, almost like coaching yourself,
Okay.
it's difficult to be self-aware. And if you're not self-aware, oh my gosh, like life is gonna be, I don't know, right? So
Gonna be
that's what
hard.
deep means for me. That's what deep means for me. Just being able to spend time, whatever time is needed to go through something, to get through something. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. We talked a good bit about our offline conversations are usually about some level of introversion.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
We talk about that. We talk about
absolutely.
that a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm learning and evolving in that space because I know that
Mm.
I've leaned on that title for a while. Nobody that knows me or watches any of our shows believes any bit of that, but
Yeah.
it's true. I
I
do get
know.
my energy from a different place than people do that are extroverts.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be around people in crowded room, like
Mm-hmm.
you said.
I
That's not
know.
me. I want to get
Mm-hmm.
in and out as fast as possible. Trying to
Yeah.
find the exit. I'm looking for the exit. Soon as I get into the entrance, I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
exit.
I love it.
That's where I'm at. But
Yeah.
for you as a deep thinker, that's how I see you anyway. You're a deep
Mm.
thinker. I feel
Mm.
like you're deep as a reader. What do you do to? I should say this. Let's rephrase. What books or podcasts have you watched or listened to or read that have moved you recently? What do you listen
Mm.
to? What do you read?
What do I read? I have had so many like favorite books. I'm actually doing kind of like a mini series kind of thing on my podcast right now, where I'm
Wow.
going
Okay.
through. Yes, I'm going through books that I've loved, and sharing excerpts and insights from those books.
Wow. Okay.
Bringing out principles like what can we learn. And one book that I always go back to is The War of Art
Okay.
by Stephen Pressfield. I love that book. It's a very simple book. It's an easy read. It wouldn't take long at all. But one of the things that I mean, the main crux of the book, he talks about resistance, and this is the idea that when you decide to do your work, and I put work in air quotes because work
Okay.
means anything that you set your heart to do. It doesn't matter what it is, right? When you decide to do it, you will experience resistance. And that resistance is the thing is it's like a force that keeps you from doing that thing. And we all experience it. And I think the reason why a lot of people, unfortunately, if we look at the whole population of the whole world and we do like samples and all of that, most people will not achieve their dreams and their goals. It's sad to say it. The reason is, and it goes back to being going deep. The reason is there is resistance, which is a force that will keep you from doing that, and it'll come up as all sorts of things. It might come up as I don't know, distractions, right?
Okay.
Because you prefer to just relax after work every day and watch TV instead of spending that extra time getting caught up on the business, on the studies, on whatever it is you want to do, right? Or it might just be, who knows, it could even be hardships, just the
Okay.
difficult things that happen in life. But the only way that you get through is by pushing through and not giving up. So I love that book because anyone who has any dream, any ideas, any goals, anything you really want to achieve, that book is like an eye opener. So that really, it really motivates me to know that yes, I will experience. So I'm looking for the resistance. So I recognize it for what it is and I can move past it. So that's one book that I really love. In terms of a podcast, wow, there's so many of them, but I love the Guy Raz. What
Okay.
is the title? How I Built This. How
Okay.
I Built This by Guy
I think I've
Raz.
heard
I
of him.
love those stories because these are just stories of entrepreneurs, people who have built, companies, movements, or whatever it is, and really digging deep into their journeys, their struggles, the things that they had to work through, and all of that. And I know that sometimes when you're telling your story, it's very easy to sort of sanitize it. You're not going deeply
Sure.
into all the things that you had to go through because somehow when you've experienced success, it colors the way you see the struggle, right? But I try to piece through all of that to really get to the meat of what can I learn from this person's experience, right? Because I know everybody has a story and there's something that we can kind of bring out of it to inspire our own lives in whatever it is we're pursuing or doing. So I really love it. So that's one book and one podcast that I really love.
I love it. And both the book and the podcast are in the comment section in the live chat for those that want
Hmm.
to follow it.
Sure.
Speaking of podcasts, though, you do a fantastic podcast called The Driven Introvert. You didn't change the
Hmm.
name, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay, okay, all
It's
right, good.
still the same.
All right. So yeah, I'd love to hear how it got started, why you decided
Hmm.
to do it. Go for it.
Oh gosh. Um I I'm a creative person, so
Yeah, you are.
any way that I can sort of use my creativity, I will always kind of lean into it. 2016 was the first time that I heard of the word podcast. And it was a friend of mine who had a podcast at the time, and she had it on SoundCloud. And I remember listening
Okay.
to it, and I'm like, this is amazing, this is fascinating, I want to do this. And and that's me, like I just jump straight into it. I don't contemplate things for too long. If I know that this is something, I think about it in very simple ways, right? I ask myself a question when I get a new idea. Is this something I that will help somebody? Is this something that other people can get something from, positive? Is this something I'm able to do, I have the skills to do it, or I can learn? And is this something I'm excited about? And if I can answer those three questions, I am diving deep into it. So I just started that podcast. It was called Follow Your Feet. And I was talking about
Okay.
purpose. I was talking about purpose and, living a life of passion and all of that. And for I think about 7 months later, I gave up on that podcast. And that's a story for another day because I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know how to grow it. I didn't know how to get people to listen. It was like a black box I didn't understand, but I was just excited. I just went in with passion. But I gave up on that and I thought, okay, I really love this medium, so I want to come back to it someday, right? But maybe I would need someone like maybe a co-host. Maybe I just don't know how to hack it by myself or whatever. But I gave up on it, and it was last year, 2024, at the beginning of last year, that I started my current podcast now. But I came
Yeah.
at it now with fresh eyes and a new perspective and like renewed drive. Like I'm going to make this work. But in terms of the content, the Driven Introvert podcast is essentially sharing principles and insights from my own journey through life. You
Okay.
know how I mentioned like I used to be a painfully shy introvert. Like, oh my gosh, like I would never do this that we're doing right now, right? So, but going through that and having different experiences in life, most of them were hardships because there is
Okay.
something about a difficult experience, maybe a tragedy, maybe a failure. We learn more from those things than when everything is going well. And that's one thing I've realized in my life. I learned a lot from the difficult experiences I've had to walk through. And that, in a weird way, built my confidence, right? So I ended up going from this person who is like mousy and never want to talk to anyone to figuring out what are the things that I'm passionate about, what are the things that I want to do. And the more that I tried those things, and the more that I realized that even when I failed, it wasn't the end of me. When I failed at things, I learned a lot more and I had more wisdom and more insight to apply to the next thing. It built my confidence, right? So I wanted to share that experience with people. I wanted to share that experience with other introverts who might find themselves in that situation, in that headspace where they feel like, gosh, because not all introverts are shy. Not all introverts experience social anxiety, but I had all of that, the whole thing, right? So essentially, the podcast is it's like an encouragement and inspiration for anyone who might find themselves in that position, who really have goals and ideas and things that they want to pursue in life, but feel like they don't have the personality to match, the kind of person. Because when you think about, oh, that person is driven, you're usually thinking about an extrovert. Somebody who is like charismatic and they enter a room and they're speaking and talking and everyone is just enraptured. And I am not that person, right? I'm not the life of the
You're
party.
not?
I don't
Okay.
think I'm ever going to be. But I had to
Well,
figure
we'll
out.
see.
I had to figure out how to build my confidence and be that person I know that I could be, I needed to be able to go after my goals and dreams. So that's what I talk about on the podcast.
Okay. I love the evolution of you, starting follow your feet and then deciding to step away. So you're
Yeah.
talking about getting a co-host. So tell me
Mm-hmm.
what changed there because you kind of let me know what you've been doing
Mm-hmm.
since you stepped back into the podcasting foray,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know what changed. So do you have a co-host now? Do you still want to do that? Do you feel like you need it now?
Mm.
What's different?
Good question. So, and this was something else that I feel like the Lord really opened my eyes to
Hmm.
is the fact that I found myself always wanting somebody to do something with me. Like I didn't want to do things by myself. And it
Okay.
was a story I had told myself because I had done so many things that I felt like didn't work. And because I did all of these things by myself, I naturally began to think maybe I'm not built for these. Maybe I'm not built to succeed at any like creative thing by myself. So when I
Hmm.
was gonna start the podcast, I was like, hey, maybe I need a co-host. Maybe I need somebody, maybe I'm boring, right? Maybe if I have somebody else on the show with me and then we're talking, maybe it'll be fun for people to listen to. And I remember I wrangled one of my friends, I love her. And I'm like, let's do this together. She was like, I mean, this is your thing. I'm like, come on, let's do it together. And she's like, okay, fine, let's do it. And I remember we recorded the first episode. I thought it was fun, but she was not having a good time. And
Oh
that was
no.
and it was not she was not having a good time. And the Lord really showed me that this is not the way this is supposed to go. Like, I know what I've given you. I know what I've given her. And it is not this, right? This is for you. This is your responsibility. And I
Wow.
decided, okay, I think I have to really dig deep into myself and find the confidence to do this by myself because it's possible. So that's really where I am. So right now, I don't have any plans of having a co-host. I'm actually enjoying working on the podcast by myself. And actually, when I started the podcast, I was sort of doing one guest episode and one solo episode. But
Sure.
after the first season, I realized that every time I did a solo episode, there was one, the responses that I got from people, and also how I felt after that experience. It made me realize that this is actually a tool for me to continue to hone my voice, right? There's nothing wrong with having a guest, but for this season, I want to dig deep into because I felt like I'm still kind of figuring it out. I want to dig deep into finding my voice. So I want to create episodes that require time and effort because it helps me. There's something about thinking about an idea from beginning, middle, and end that gives you such a perspective, right? And it builds your thinking, critical thinking, and your communication skills. I remember I used to tell people that some people find it so easy to express their thoughts. Like you think something and you just say it, and it's like, ooh, it just comes out straight. It comes out wonderful, and you convey whatever it is that I struggled with that for so long. Like I
Mm.
would try to say something, I would use so many words, but I was never getting anywhere. But to be honest with you, doing this podcast and really leaning into doing it by myself has really helped me build my communication skills. So that's where I am
I
right
love
now. I
it.
want to continue to do that. But yes, I will. I will have guests. I really have some ideas of like a guest series that I want to do. But I'm enjoying working on the podcast at this time.
I love it. I
Absolutely.
love it. I got a little small handful of questions left. I want to ask you one couple questions real quick. It's got about a
Hmm.
two-part question here.
Sure.
So when let's put numbers on where you were in your evolution as a podcast host.
Hmm.
When you first started and you kind of just getting your feet wet to right
Hmm.
now. Put a number on it from a scale of 1 to 10 as far as confidence and feeling like you understand you got this together. What was the
Yeah.
number then when you first? Now we're following you people when you came back to the podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and to where you are right now currently.
Now, so when I came back, I would put it at kind of like a 4.5
Or
because at that
25,
time,
okay.
yes, 4.5. I was actually starting a platform for introverts at that time. So I felt like I was getting a lot of downloads from the Lord, and He was giving me so many great ideas.
Okay.
But I never know how long something is going to last. And that's another thing that I used to be afraid of, but I leaned into it. But at that time, I feel like I was gathering my confidence because I felt like, Remi, you can do this. I remember sitting on my couch the day before I pulled the trigger and I posted everything that we'd been working on the back end. And I kept praying, God help me. Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? And I remember being on Instagram. I wanted to post the thing on Instagram, and I saw a post by some other lady. It was like a quote. I cannot remember the quote right now, but it was something about at some point you have to stop praying, you have to stop asking, and just do it. If the Lord has called you to do it, just do it. And I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do it, right? So at that time I was still gathering my confidence, right? But I think till now, I think I can put myself at a solid 8.75.
8.75. That's amazing. For
I think
somebody who
I
said that
can.
they're still trying to figure it out, that's a high number for somebody who's still trying to figure it out. You sure?
I'm telling you, and part of it is one being okay with discomfort. I used to be very I didn't like ambiguity. Like I want things to be clear. If I'm doing this, I want to know that this is exactly where I should be and everything is going to work out. But how many times do we get that kind of assurance in life? A lot of times we
I
don't.
live.
You just have to do it, right? So I'm a little more okay with uncertainty now. I'm a little more okay with, a little bit of things not looking, perfect the way it should be. But another thing that I can really, and the reason why I put it as 8.75 is I walk into rooms now, rooms that I've never been, rooms that I didn't have to sort of prepare my mind for, and I don't have anxiety. I don't have that fear that used to sort of grip me, and I would think, oh, I'm going to make a mess of this, or people are gonna think I'm like I don't belong here. I don't have that anymore. But I know that there are still rooms that I will get into where I need to prepare for, and I need to really prepare my mind and my heart. That's why I'm not giving myself like a 9 or a 10 or anything, because I still have, there's always room to grow. But yeah, it's been a great journey so far.
No, I love it. I love it. Now, in in this discussion of introversion, and
Hmm.
it it feels like it means different things to different people.
Yep.
So it's really hard for me to put a stamp on it because I feel like I'm just different from the
Hmm.
normal introverts. I don't do
Okay.
things with I don't have the same situation going on. But
Hmm.
how do you, as somebody who considers herself an introvert, how do you encourage another introvert? Because the name of your podcast is the Driven Introvert, and
Hmm.
introverts the ones that I know don't want to be driven anywhere.
Yeah. I agree
especially
with
when
you.
it comes especially when it comes to creativity,
Yes.
motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have a coaching client that's an introvert, I'm doing extra work with them
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
have to almost not babysit, but I have to kind of
Yeah,
walk every step of the process with them.
I totally
But
understand
so
that.
the idea of
Hmm.
being introvert and being driven is like,
Hmm.
wow, what a
Yeah.
dichotomy. So tell
Yeah.
me how you encourage other introverts. I know you talk to many of them through your show. How are
Hmm.
you helping to drive them? How's that look? How's that look? How's that working?
One thing I decided, or I learned, and then I decided myself is you cannot change anyone. You cannot.
Sure. No.
You cannot. So you don't want to go into any sort of that kind of relationship feeling like, oh, I'm gonna make you something you're not. If somebody is not naturally driven or wanting to pursue things or do things or be out there or whatever, it's fine, right? It's fine. They don't have to. If it's not their makeup, if it's not part of their purpose or whatever it is that God has for them, there's no point, right? But if there is even a sliver of a drive, like maybe I want to do that. I'm like, okay, maybe we can work with a maybe. We can work with maybe. And with that, the way that I try to encourage people is take one tiny step at a time, right? Think of what is one thing you love to do. Because the truth is, the way to build confidence is just by trying. The more you try things, the more you do things, the more you're like, oh, okay, I did that. That wasn't so bad. Yeah, maybe I could do better next time. And then you do better next time. I remember walking into um, a speaking engagement, and there was a young lady there. I think she's probably about 19 or 20. She's in college. And after I finished and I talked, she came to me and she said, you said you're an introvert. I'm an introvert too. But like every time I want to, talk or whatever, I get this lump in my throat and I can't do it. I'm like, oh, I feel you. I feel you. And then I asked her, okay, what is one thing you love? What is one thing you love to do? And she said, I love to read. And I'm like, yeah, I can work with that. I'm like, one thing you could do right now is take the thing that you love doing by yourself and share it with other people. Find one or two other people who you already know, who you're already comfortable with, and do that thing with them. There is so much power in that. It will build confidence one tiny step at a time. So you say, okay, I have this book that I'm reading right now. Do you guys want to read it with me? Maybe let's do a book club and then we discuss and talk about it. There is some level of confidence, even if it's very little, that will come out of that.
Oh
And
yeah.
then maybe the next time the other friend invites somebody, and then you have more people. So it's a little step at a time, and you don't want to rush people like that because they will shut down. If it's like this is too much, I can't take it. So it has to be something you're already comfortable with. You know how we say we need to get out of our comfort zones?
Sure.
The truth is, you need to start at your comfort zone. For people like that, you need to start at your comfort zone and then you can work your way up from there. That's what I would say.
All right. I love this. All right. So just got a handful of questions left. Not a whole lot, but
Yeah.
what's the food that you miss from your home?
Oh my God. To be honest with you, none. And the reason is
None.
because none. The reason
Wow.
is because I'm from Nigeria. We have African and Nigerian stores here, and we eat all the things. All the things.
I'm amazed.
I'm telling you, I miss nothing.
So
I
nothing.
can just
So there's nothing. You have
mm-mm,
access to all of it now.
all of it.
Wow.
I can just go to the store about 10 minutes or 20 minutes away and get it. It's amazing.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's great.
I
I
know.
love that. I love that. I love that. Is there anything you miss about home?
Oh yeah, I miss I lived in Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos is
Hmm.
a crazy city. Crazy, I tell you. I miss that in a
Okay.
very weird way, right? I remember go
Crazy meaning hustle and bustle. Is that what we're
oh
talking about?
yeah, hustle and bustle, people, bodies everywhere. I miss a little bit
Yeah.
of that because going to work every day and kind of that hustle. I miss a little bit, not a lot because I'm still an introvert, but
Yeah. I don't
I
miss any of that from New York. None of that.
oh you don't.
No,
I
not at
miss it a
all.
little bit. I miss it a tiny little bit, but of course, mostly I miss my friends. I miss my
Okay.
family. I miss my friends and my family.
Okay. What's the biggest breakthrough that you would say personally you've had this year so far?
Oh gosh, it'll have to be concerning the startup I'm building.
Okay.
Yeah, because last year was actually when I got the idea for it. And like I said, I'm not one to sit around on ideas for too long. As long as I know that okay, there's something here, and I pray and I feel the Lord giving me peace about it, I will just jump into it. But it has stretched me in ways that I never would have imagined because these are I'm having to learn skills that I've never really had to use, right? I'm having to really think critically and think like a leader, which is a different
Mm.
dimension. If you're used to just doing things by yourself or you're used to following and you've never had to hold such a big responsibility in your hands, you have a learning curve. And that learning curve is steep. So I'm still on that journey trying to learn, but it's really stretched me. I think that's probably the biggest. And the fact that I could get to the point in my life where I'm like, oh, I thought about, I want to build a company. And it happens to be a software company where I'm going to build software and tech, and people are going to be a part of this. I would never have thought it was possible for me. So that's a big one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing.
Thank you so
I
much.
mean, to have two things going on like that, it's like I want to
Hmm.
hear both about sheep pack and about pod ground because
Hmm.
you're doing something amazing that I would think that people who, like I said, this is my previous conception of introverts, they would never do this kind of stuff because it's too much involved,
Too
too
much,
many
yeah.
people, aspects
Yeah,
involved in this. You're not
yes.
doing this, and you do that not once but twice. And this is the same person a few minutes ago who was saying, you know what, they don't want to be around people. They want to
Yeah, yeah,
glide to the back of the room and kind
yeah.
of stay out of sight. And
I know.
you founded two organizations. Talk
Mm.
about those. What's going on? Why'd you do this? What are they? What are you doing?
Okay, so She Packed is actually that I started about 3 or 2 years ago, and it was a platform for introverts, and it was under the She Packed that I sort of launched the podcast because I
Okay,
felt
okay.
that was one really powerful way I could reach, the people that I wanted to reach. Listening to a podcast, you can do it by yourself and you can keep learning and growing and whatever. And I've connected with a lot of amazing people through it. And I continue to sort of, work on that with the podcast. But Podground, everything's kind of like in the podcasting industry, right? So Podground, the idea came to me because I started to sort of observe the industry, and especially podcasters who are not celebrities or who don't have like a huge, uh, audience or whatever, and trying to figure it out and feeling very
Okay.
isolated because podcasting is a lot of work. I know you know this. It's a lot of work. So being a podcaster and not knowing how to get what you need. Remember my first experience with Follow Your Feed. I didn't know how to get what I needed to succeed with that podcast. I didn't know how to lean into community. I didn't know other people who were also podcasting. So that is what I'm trying to build right now with Podground. It's essentially a learning and networking platform for podcasters, right? So we're going to have a community aspect of it where you can meet people from all over the world. You can connect, you can share ideas, you can collaborate, you can guest on each other's shows. We're gonna have like events and classes and things like that. If you want to level up, maybe you just launched and you want to figure out,
You're gonna have events with people in them.
absolutely real human beings, not imaginary ones.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, absolutely. And we're also building kind of like a directory of experts So people who
Interesting.
really know what they're doing, who really know what they're doing with podcasting.
You've been holding out on me, man. You've been holding out on me. I didn't know. I
we
didn't know
need
about any of
we
that.
need to
I
talk.
didn't.
We need to talk. Yeah, so we're building
Unbelievable.
all of that right now, and there are other things we want to down the road, kind of like a roadmap that we want to build into Podground, but we have to start somewhere. So right now we're building the MVP, which
Wow.
is like the minimum viable product for the platform. So we're working on that right now, and it should be ready in the fall.
We're talking to a genius today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you guys
I
recognize
know
this.
about that.
This is incredible. I'm excited. Sorry, the discussion has to come to an end. This has been fantastic. We got to talk
Thank you so
more.
much.
Hint, hint.
Absolutely.
But this is our final question for the show. All of our guests come through and answer the same question. I
Okay.
don't let anybody off of the hook ever. Somebody tried that one yesterday, but I don't do that. You got to answer this question. So, not to diminish the work you've done incredible work up to this point, but
Mhm.
temporarily, we're going to take an eraser and erase everything you ever done, career wise, mission wise. If it's a hobby and you did it, I'm erasing that off of the table.
Mhm.
What do you think Remy's doing right now today, outside of all the things she's already done? What do you think you're doing right now if you haven't
Oh
done yet?
my, that I haven't done yet. Gosh.
I don't have any Jeopardy music, so I'm gonna have to just trust you to keep time with
Okay.
it.
I mean, I'm not sure. I guess maybe travel if I didn't have all of this or haven't done all of this and I just have my family and I can travel with my family, I think I'll be content. I think I'll be content.
Would you really be content, Remy?
I
With all we've
think
heard about you
so.
today, that's already out here live now. It's everywhere now. It's gonna be in listening platforms in less than 2 hours. Would you really be content with just traveling every place? That's it?
it's it's tough to
Really?
say. It's tough to say because I'm not in that position, right? But maybe I'll be content for a year, and then after that, I'm like, can we get back to work, please?
That makes sense. This has been fantastic. I love
Thank you
that
so
you're
much.
here and you made our show better today. So thank you for being here. I'm going to give
Appreciate
you a
it. Thank you
couple of
for having
minutes.
me.
No, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll give you a
Hmm.
couple of minutes to kind of let everybody where they can find your work. I posted some of your websites in the chat
Hmm.
so they can
Hmm.
find those hopefully, but you can go ahead and shout them out. And at the end of that, you can just encourage the people who are watching and listening. I know hopefully people are watching that you know too, friends and family,
Yeah.
associates, people,
Hmm.
colleagues, whatever, live or on the replay. Shout
Hmm.
them out, give encouragement, however you want to go out. So the floor is
All
yours. Do both
right.
for me. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for
Oh, thank
having
you.
me.
My pleasure.
I am on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Remi Roy. And if you're a podcaster, the platform we're building is at podground.io, and you can check it out. And yeah, that's me. And I just want to encourage everyone. There is a seed of greatness in every human being. And like I said, unfortunately, a lot of people will not pursue that. A lot of people will not give life what it really takes to go from where you are to where you actually can be. So lean into seeking the face of God, let Him give you direction for where He really wants you to go, and commit that you also want to do that. Because it's one thing for God to give you the talent, the skills, the gift, the purpose, the promise. But the most important part is for you to lean into it and give life everything it takes. So I hope that encourages you as you go out there and pursue your life, your work, your family, whatever it is. Do it with excellence and all the best.
I love this. I love this. Thank you again for being here, Remy. It's been
Thank you for
fantastic.
having me.
Excited about our other conversation about the other stuff that I didn't know about until today, live in
Yes,
front of the whole
sir.
world. Oh my goodness. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it so
Thank
much.
you.
You're doing fantastic work. And
Thank
I'm
you.
excited about the area that you want to drive yourself into some
Yes.
new realms and new levels. And
Yes.
I'm excited for you. So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Remy and Mr. U, we are out of here. Have a fantastic